We've all heard the story of Robin Hood. Guy steals from the rich to give to the poor. Well, Justin Trudeau's environmental policies do the exact opposite of that. They take money from the average hardworking Canadian and hand it over to the wealthiest individuals and corporations in the country. Now, I'm going to give you 4 examples, but before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about who he's taking the money from. Studies have shown that about half, or 48%, of all Canadians live paycheck to paycheck and are $200 or less away from financial insolvency at the end of the month. What's their biggest expense? Housing, perhaps? No, taxes. Now, while you might think those taxes get returned to them, here are 4 examples of when Justin Trudeau's environmental policies gave our money to the wealthy. Number 1, Loblaws. Last year, Justin Trudeau gave $12 million of taxpayer money to Loblaws, Canada's largest grocery chain, to install energy-efficient fridges. This is a company that made $800 million in net earnings last year, and it's owned by Canada's second wealthiest family. So why on earth should average hardworking Canadians be giving Loblaws $12 million? Number 2, Canadian Tire. So apparently Trudeau heard none of our outrage about giving millions of taxpayer dollars to profitable corporations, because this year he gave the Canadian Tire Company $2.7 million worth of taxpayer money to install electric car charging stations. The Canadian Tire Corporation generated over $14 billion worth of revenue last year alone. Surely they can come up with $2.7 million of their own money to install these stations. Speaking of electric vehicles, Ontario, the province I live in, used to have this policy where we'd give $14,000 worth of taxpayer money to wealthy individuals every time they decided to buy an electric vehicle, whether that was a Tesla, a Mercedes, or a BMW. Noting this was a stupid transfer of wealth from the poor to the wealthy, Premier Doug Ford canceled the program. But Prime Minister Trudeau wouldn't stand for it. In truly anti-Robin Hood fashion, Justin Trudeau implemented a policy that will now see wealthy electric vehicle purchasers receive $5,000 of taxpayer money every time they buy an electric vehicle up to $55,000. Number 4, the carbon tax. Not only have numerous government reports shown time and time again that this policy won't work, it also punishes people by increasing the price of necessities like home heating or groceries. Where I grew up in southwestern Ontario, you can't get around anywhere without a car. Whether you're driving your kids to extracurriculars or even just going to town to buy groceries, you're not getting there outside a vehicle. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves is, on Twitter when I'm talking about how the carbon tax makes life unaffordable. Some guy from Toronto, where I currently live, full disclosure, will say, you know what, well, you should bike or walk instead. It's cheaper. Yeah, try doing that when your commute to work involves driving past cornfields for 10 minutes. To conclude, we all care about the environment, but policies matter. And Justin Trudeau's environmental policies are doing next to nothing to stop global climate change. The worst part is they're harming everyday hardworking Canadians by handing over their tax dollars to the wealthiest individuals and corporations in this country. If you agree, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and share this video to expose the truth about Justin Trudeau's environmental policies.